Hey guys, what's going on? So, back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, yeah, uh, back at the car, started stripping down the engine bay. Decided to go ahead and start working on that because I'm just kind of at a standstill with everything else. I'm just undecided on a few things like I want to redo the fuel system, I want to add a staging brake and all that type of stuff, and so it's like just kind of once again taking my time. Um, Engine is essentially ready. I mean, it's all together. It could theoretically go back in, but I'm not ready to put it back in yet. So last video I said I wasn't going to touch the inside harness. That was a lie. Um, if you look inside, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because you don't really know what the inside of the car looks like, but you can see there's no panel, there's no fuel tech. Everything has been removed from inside the car. The FT450 is sitting here. What sparked that was I went to go find some traces for some stuff, and I couldn't find it. Or, I couldn't find it easily, anyways. And I just kind of realized that there's just a bunch of stuff that could be done better. So, decided while it's apart, might as well take it apart and do it better. So, fuse panels back out. I'm going to redo this up somewhat. Yeah, so going to redo that, redo the inside wiring. Then I also, while the fuel tech was out, I decided I was going to go ahead and upgrade to an FT550 because I wanted more inputs and outputs. So, like I said, nice thing about the 550. So no real huge, no light there. So not much of a physical difference as far as, why is it so dark? Let's do this. There we go. That's better. So not much of a physical difference dimension-wise. They're exactly the same. The difference is that the 450 has one plug. The 550 has two plugs. So there's substantially more inputs and outputs. There's a built-in G meter. There's the possibility to use a electronic throttle body. There's all types of stuff. There's the capability to use a strain gauge, which of course I'm not using a dog box or anything, but there is a advantage to using a strain gauge with a normal synchro mesh gearbox, so might be doing that. There's just a lot of stuff that, you know, warranted the upgrade, and I was like, car's apart, now's the time to do it while I'm redoing the harness and stuff. So with that, I need to add a few more traces into my harness for spares, because I want to run fuel pressure, oil temperature, coolant pressure, you know, all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and sensor up pretty good. So but, you know, that's another video. Right now, basically all I'm doing right now is just working on cleaning up this engine bay. So I'm going to spray her down with some degreaser and take the pressure washer to her and get her cleaned up. And once it's cleaned up, I'll start sanding. I already did some test spots here. This is just like paint over paint over paint, so the paint just looks really bad. I went to the Hazard Fraught, and I bought myself one of these guys. Yeah, big old gnarly boy there. A couple of different sanding discs on there. That's the most aggressive, obviously, and then these are finer and finer. I always wanted to buy one of those. Eastwood was like the first company I saw that came out with one, but it was like ridiculously expensive. So I was tickled when I saw that Harbor Freight had came up with their own design, and I was able to buy one for substantially cheaper. So works pretty good. You know, that's what I did this with. That took like 2 seconds with that thing. And same thing with some of this stuff over here. Probably won't need a whole lot inside the engine bay, but like I said, I just kind of wanted one, and so I bought one. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get this engine bay soaking in some degreaser and get my pressure washer out and hose her down. So I guess here's a before, and then I'll show you the after. Alright, so I got it sprayed down. This super clean stuff. Oh yeah, that's some strong stuff, some gnarly stuff. It recommends diluting it somewhat, unless you wanted it. I mean, you can use it at maximum strength, but man, that is strong. So anyways, got the engine bay soaking. Looks like it already broke up a lot of that stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag out my pressure washer, and by the time I get that set up, that should be ready to blast. Probably done for today, but it's a lot cleaner, you know. Looks like a lot better than it was. So yeah, we'll let this dry out overnight and get back on it tomorrow. Hey guys, what's going on? So we're back again. I think where we left off at, I was cleaning the engine bay. Engine bay came out pretty clean for the most part. It is obviously still needs to be prepped and painted. So last video or last clip, I kind of discussed some methods I was going to use to try and get the paint off. Like I bought this guy. This guy kind of works. You know, it's not a bad tool. It's just not great for this application because of all the curves and divots and stuff that's in the engine bay. You know, those brushes aren't as soft as they look. They're very stiff, so they don't really get into any of the crevices. I tried going at it with my what are these things called? Not Dremel, but die grinder. There we go. Tried going at with my die grinder of different bits and attachments, and it kind of works, but it's very slow going. I realize this bay's been painted multiple times. Not a very good job done on any of those times, and some of the paint is still gummy after years and years. So it seems like the best option is to just go at it with some chemical peeler. So I've already done a few test areas where I went through and just kind of sprayed down and scraped off some paint. It seems like this is going to work pretty well. You know, it seems like the last time I used chemical peeler, they've changed the formula. There used to be they all used to have methylene chloride in it, and I guess that was the good stuff that really got the paint boiling off. None of the strippers have that anymore because I guess, you know, known to cause cancer, and if you use it indoors, it'll kill you. So, but yeah. So, anyways, I found this stuff, and it seems to work pretty well. I also tried some of the old aircraft stripper, but it also doesn't have the methylene chloride in it, so we'll see how well that does. And I think I have a can of the old Rust-Oleum. I've had it for a few years. I don't even know if it'll spray out of the can, but I got that too. They all seem to work pretty well. So we'll do that. We'll spray it down. We'll go at it with a putty knife and scrape off the scrape as we go. And then I'll go at it with the pressure washer and get the rest of the bits and pieces off. So before I do that, I'm going to go jack the car up and take the struts out, get it up on jack stands so that, because I don't want to get any of that stuff on those camber plates. They are anodized, so that stuff shouldn't take the paint off of them, but I don't want to risk it. So yeah, I'm going to jack the car up, get the struts protected, and then we'll just start going to town on it. Also, kind of funny, every step I take at getting closer to getting this car back together, it seems like it comes further apart. So I've got the fenders off because I don't want to get that stuff on the paint on the fenders, so I just went ahead and took the fenders completely off. Also allowed me to access the harnesses and get the harnesses out of the engine bay. So, but yeah, no, she's pretty stripped down right now. So we're gonna get it stripped. I'm waiting on some Dash 8 PTFE fuel lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo the fuel system while I'm in here. Something I've been meaning to do, just been lazy about it. So we'll redo that. Get a new fancy fuel filter. Still on the factory fuel filter, not the factory, not the one from 1993, but a factory style fuel filter and factory fuel lines. So we'll get that all straightened out and blah, 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 and I'm rambling right now. So anyways, jack her up, get struts out, and I'll start stripping some paint. I'll show you how this chemical stripper works real quick, just so you get an idea if you've never used it. Spray in the area where I've already kind of gone to town, but you can see the paint there. We'll spray some of this magical. Oh, that can. That's the old can, so that's probably not going to spray very well. But anyways, just you can see kind of within seconds, you can see the paint start lifting off already. Kind of hard to see with it being as blown out as it is. But yeah, you can see the paint's already starting to lift off. Right before your eyes. So this is some nasty stuff, so make sure when you use it you got your PPE on, you got some nitrile gloves, you got your eye protection, and probably a respirator or something, because like I said, you don't want to breathe this stuff. So as I said, spray it on just a few seconds. I mean, you could leave it on for longer, but just to show you just how quickly it starts eating the paint off. I mean, that's down to the factory Ford Escort paint right there. It's already started to soften up the other paint. So yeah, we'll go at it that way, the chemical stripper, and ain't no easier way. So yeah, like I said, don't forget your PPE, because you know, you don't want to die. That's this is probably a little overkill for this stuff, because I am in a garage. It is very well ventilated, but you can never be too safe. Oh, look at that shiny freaking ball spot going on there. Alright, well, let's go to it. So yeah, we'll just do this in sections. You can see the paint's already boiling up off the fender there. I haven't decided if I'm going to try and scrape, or if I'm just going to go straight to the pressure washer. I think I'm going to try and scrape first, because once I get stuff wet, I can't apply more, so I think I'll do some scraping and then I'll apply more, and then I'll grab the pressure washer and do a full-on spray down. But I'm not going to record everything, but you know the drill. For the fun part. Oh my god, look at my shelf. Oh, that was dumb. Look. Blasted my shelf over there. Alright, so you can see it's starting to strip down pretty good. Got most of the paint off. It's down to bare metal, or at least down to the primer in a lot of spots. I'm going to give it one more coating. All I have left is the citrus strip. I'm not sure how well this stuff will actually do. It didn't seem to do much when I tested it, but it does say that it can be left on for a long time, so I'm going to go ahead and spray this on, go have a cigar, and then come back and see how well it actually does at stripping it off. If it doesn't do a great job, I'll go back and I'll buy more of this stuff. This stuff works really good. This stuff works okay. The problem is it dries really quick, and so you end up with wrinkly paint that doesn't want to come off. You know, it doesn't just fall off. It's lifted, but it doesn't come off very easily. So I'm not a big fan of this stuff, which sucks because this used to be the best. But this Jasco stuff, this stuff is pretty good. This stuff works like the old aircraft stripper. So if you're doing a project like this, I highly recommend this. And I'll get back to you on this. I'm not quite sure how great this is yet, but we'll see. Alright guys, so got some safety goggles. I had to go back to Home Depot to get some more stripper, so decided to pick up some of these because there's a whole lot of splashback that happens with the pressure washer. So we are getting close. Sorry about the speckles that are on the lens, but I don't want to try and clean it right now. I've been letting this soak for quite a while, probably like an hour or so. So I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash it again and see if I get any more of it off, and then I'll do one more coat, and then I guess the last thing I'll have to do is just get in there and scrub the rest of it off, because I don't think the stripper is going to get the rest of it off. It looks like it's down to the primer. I thought it was down to the metal. I think it might just be down to the primer. I don't know. Usually whenever they prime these things, it's like a electro-coated kind of deal, and it's pretty hardcore. So I don't think the paint stripper is going to touch that. I guess I can take a knife and scratch and see if anything comes off. It might be the metal. It's hard to tell. It looks like it's primer, but that could just be the metal. I don't know. Let's grab a hard object here and yeah, that might be the metal. Yeah, it might just be down to the metal. It just has a weird gray tone to it. So, anyways, let me go ahead and blast this one more time. I'm going to move the camera because I don't want to get the camera destroyed. You know, it's a $900 camera, so there's no point in getting it soaked in paint chips and water and shit. So, here we go. And I don't really need a mask. This stuff is kind of flashed off already, but once it gets wet, it seems like it kind of kicks off again. So it's supposed to be safe in the ventilated area because it doesn't have the methylene in it like the old stuff, but you can never be too safe. So. Yeah, so another thing I highly recommend is that if you're doing this inside your garage like a dumbass, make sure you go ahead and you mask off, like get some drop cloth or something like that, or like some plastic, and cover up everything you don't want to get absolutely covered in paint chips, because after I get this car out, I'm going to have a whole lot of work to do to clean all this crap off with all my power tools. Everything on that shelf over there is completely blasted in freaking paint chips. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and dry this off, apply a little bit more, and then we will, I mean, it's pretty close to being completely stripped. Definitely, I'll gladly take the mess over the time it would have taken to strip this with conventional means. So the downside is, it's funny, here you can see that this is clearly metal, and then on here it's like some hardcore primer. Same thing here, you can see that that's clearly metal, and then this is some other coated material. But anyways, just about completely good. Got a few areas here. You know, this right here, I'd like to get the rest of this off. So I'll re-spray that, let that soak for a little bit. I'm not going to worry about too much stuff back there. It's not a show car, but I do want it to look better than it is. So I'll get in there and hand sand some of that stuff. Of course, I got water all inside the car too, so that's another thing. But hey, it's a stripped interior, so who cares? But yeah, it's versus what it looked like, it's definitely coming pretty clean. So I'm going to dry this off, and I'm going to see about getting some rust inhibitor for the areas that are kind of rusty and nasty looking. And then I got some etching primer that I'll spray on, and then some heavy build primer and some hand sanding, and then I'll be ready to paint it. Obviously I gotta mask off a bunch of stuff that I don't want to get paint on, but that may be another video. So I'm gonna dry this off and spray some more stuff on and go smoke a cigar, and then finish this up. Alright, now that the garage is a complete and total disaster, I think we're pretty good where we are now. Going to probably stop here, let all this dry out. You can see it's pretty much bare metal just about everywhere. Got a little paint there I missed. Maybe I'll blast that one more time, see if that comes off. Or I might just sand it by hand, I don't know. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to go pick up a small air-powered sander, like a little 3-inch, 4-inch deal. Take care of some of the other rough spots. I'm going to go ahead and grind out the seam sealer and reseal it with something that looks nicer, because this looks horrible. And I will probably also seam seal some of these areas here just to smooth it out, you know. Not going to go nuts with it. I'm not going to shave the bay, but can definitely smooth those edges out and make it look nicer. And, you know, smooth all this stuff out, make it look a little cleaner, a little nicer, a little better. Because apparently they just went nuts with the seam sealer. Like, I don't know what the hell that is, like, really. But, yeah, so grind out some of the seam sealer, make it look nice. Go ahead and mask off the brake lines and all that stuff and get everything all primed up. And we should be good to go. Take the fuel filter off. I don't know why I didn't take the fuel filter off. Like, there's some areas I know won't be seen, so I don't really care that it'll be, like, not the best. But I just want everything that will be visible to be perfect. I might even go as far as to fill in some of these holes that don't need to be there, like holes I drilled that, you know, shouldn't be there. Take the MIG welder and just tack some of those in. You know, good stuff, you know. There's some other small holes I might consider filling, but probably not. That's just, I'm not going to go nuts. I'm not going to go super nuts with it. Like I said, there's a bunch of holes in the firewall that would be nice if I could fill them, but probably not going to go too crazy with that. But I'm tired. I got some rust areas, you know, sand some of that stuff down and put some rust stopper stuff on that. Some no-ox or whatever it's called. Yeah, so the next video will be, I guess, some more prep and hopefully some primer, but we're going to go ahead and end it here. I'm not going to do like I normally do, which is film a bunch of stuff, and then by the time it comes time to edit, I don't feel like editing it anymore, so I'm just going to do it in stages. So I'll get this uploaded, and that'll be it. That'll be it for tonight anyways. So, got quite a bit done. Got a lot done, actually. Yeah, definitely gonna clean this up. This is horrible. But yeah, so yeah, that'll be it for tonight. Till next time.